What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today we are talking barrel length. Does size really matter when it comes to self-defense? A lot of us guys have been told size is not the most important thing. I think it's cope, but today we're talking guns, so back on topic. Now, we all know longer barrels do increase bullet velocity, which is usually a good thing. Obviously, there is a point of diminishing return depending on which caliber you're using, but the internet has mixed opinions on this. Some people think it's very relevant and would make a difference in self-defense. Others think it probably wouldn't make or break your shot. I kind of lean towards the second one, especially if you're using a proven caliber. But today we have a few different barrel lengths, a few different rounds, and we're gonna put this to the test and hopefully find out how big that difference would actually be in a real life scenario. All right, before we start the test, I'm gonna chronograph these puppies and see what the velocity difference actually is between different barrel lengths. First up, 6 Hour P365. This is actually an XL slide on a small frame. So, very common barrel length for concealed carry. Let's see what the velocity is. By the way, the sleeve is not just a bad fashion choice. I'm having color removed from one of my tattoos and it can't get sunburned, so that's why I'm wearing this thing. All right, here we go, chronograph. Let's see what it does. 1087, 1094, and 1097. Remarkable consistency, I have to say. Next up, we have the LFA Apollo 11. This is a full-size 9mm 2011 pistol. This one's cool because you can air rack it. By the way, we're obviously focusing on pistols today, so keep in mind everything I say is referring to handguns. Rifles are a totally different story, and especially at long range, barrel length could make or break your shot. So, full-size 9mm. Let's see what the velocity difference is. 1108, not a big difference. Okay, 1128 and 1143. It just gradually kept getting faster and faster. And last but not least, my new carry gun. This is a Glock 19 with a 16-inch barrel. Probably wouldn't want to appendix carry this one, or people are going to think you're extremely excited to be around. This is actually part of a really cool product that we have, which you guys will see very soon, but I wanted to just run it by itself today, so. Let's see how it chronographs. Hopefully it cycles. I wouldn't be surprised if it don't. 1229, big difference. 1291 and 1298. Much more significant than I expected, I'll be honest. All right, so the SIG P365 was around 1095 feet per second on average. The full-size 9mm pistol, we'll say, was around 1130, maybe 1140, and the Glock 19 with the 16-inch barrel went all the way up to 1,298 feet per second. So more than a 100 foot per second difference between those two barrels. Now, does any of that matter when it comes to actually defending yourself? I don't know. And for the test that you're all probably here to see, the Ballistic Dummy Lab torso. We've done so many of these videos at this point. I'm sure you're all familiar with what they are, but it's got ballistics gel, bones, organs, fluid, pretty much everything you would see in a real human torso. Now, a lot of us, including myself, have done barrel length comparisons in ballistic gel and stuff like that, just to nitpick the little differences: penetration, expansion, bullet diameter, etc. And I've always kind of wondered, does any of that really matter when it comes to self-defense? Let's find out. All right, we'll go ahead and start with a little carry gun, SIG Sauer P365 XL. The ammo we got in it is the 124 grain plus P Federal Premium HST. Very common self-defense round. So if any of them stop in the torso, I will try and dig them out so we can take a look. The old expression with gunfights is 3 rounds, 3 seconds, 3 feet. So we're not quite at 3 feet, but we are pretty dang close. Let's see what this one does. I'm gonna try to put it on that left lung. Okay, that one went in right there. Clearly it hit the vitals. We have green fluid all over the place, and it looks like that one went directly through one of the ribs. Hopefully you can see in there, but that entire section of rib is missing. So, passed through the left lung, and then if we go around to the back, you can see there is no exit hole. I actually see the bullet right there near the back. It looks like it stopped as it came in contact with that rib. And again, that is the smallest 9mm that I have in terms of barrel length, and it is a very common pistol size for EDC. And clearly, it went straight through the rib, through the lung, out the other side, and then stopped just before it exited the torso. So for a self-defense round, I would say that is like the perfect result. We got no over-penetration, but it was clearly effective enough to do the job. And next up, we're gonna go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, our 16-inch Glock 19. I wanna see the contrast between the shortest barrel and the longest barrel on the same organ. And obviously these torsos have 2 lungs. So we'll go ahead and try this one, same bullet, 124 grain plus P, Federal Premium HST. By the way, I don't know if that bullet would have stopped in the torso if it didn't hit that rib on the back. So this one might go through despite having more velocity. Let's see. I'm gonna put this one on the right lung. And that one went in right there. Looks like pretty much dead even with the first one, but unfortunately, it might have went just underneath that rib, where this one went straight through it. Clearly, it hit the vitals. We got green fluid coming out, and then if we go around to the back, it threaded the needle between those 2 ribs and exited out the back. Well, obviously they're both lethal. I think we've established that. And if anything, this proves that shot placement trumps everything. You can stack all the odds in your favor, long barrel, fast bullet, etc., and still have it over penetrate just because it did not hit the ribs like the first one did. So I looked for the bullet on the ground. Unfortunately, I can't find it. I might try that one more time and see if we can hit a rib or anything in that torso and get the bullet to stop, because I want to compare expansion. Same lung, gonna go like an inch or 2 above it. I think that one hit a rib. Okay, interesting result. That one went in right there, a little bit above the first one. Obviously, there isn't much fluid left in that lung. I will say the wound cavity is quite a bit more impressive than this one down here. So we are getting more energy on target from that extra velocity, and that bullet went straight through the rib, which was my goal. If we go around to the back, hopefully you can see in there, that is our copper jacket. And I believe the lead did still pass all the way through. And laying on the ground back behind our torso, I found this, the lead portion of our HST. So it looks like because this is a plus P round and we're using a 16-inch barrel, the bullet is breaking apart in the target rather than expanding and staying in one piece, which is exactly what happens when you have too much velocity. Kind of surprised that it broke apart and over-penetrated. Usually you get one or the other, but it is what it is. And the full-size Apollo 11. This is kind of in between the SIG and the Glock. Obviously, it's much closer to the SIG, but same bullet, air rack. I'm gonna put this one on the left lung, just above the SIG P365. See what it does. Nice. Okay, that one went in right there. It looks like it also took a piece of the rib with it. And one thing I've noticed about the 2 regular size handguns, the wound cavities are just less gnarly than this one. I mean, that is a whole show going on up there. I assume because the bullet started breaking apart pretty much immediately, whereas these, it stayed intact a little bit more. But again, broke the rib, went right through it. And then if we go around to the back, there is no exit hole. Man, it's so bright out here, I cannot see the screen. But if you look in there, right there, I'm gonna really brighten it up. Hopefully you can see the entire bullet sitting just behind the rib cage. And that is the bullet from our SIG P365 right there. I did not see a copper jacket, so I assume it's probably still in the lung, but that looks to be the entire piece of lead. And then this is the one that we shot from the full-size Apollo 11. They were actually kind of on each other like that in the torso. So it didn't stay intact, but they did kind of stay together, and we recovered that one. And then this is the bullet that I found on the ground from our 16-inch Glock 19, and that is the copper jacket that I pulled out of the torso. So they all broke apart to an extent, probably because it's a plus P round, but the only one that over-penetrated and passed all the way through was the longest barrel that we shot, which is exactly the opposite of what you would expect to see. So bullets are definitely unpredictable. And then the SIG P365 and the full-size Apollo 11 were almost identical. Too close to really call a winner. Neither one of them over-penetrated, and they both stopped inside the torso after passing through an organ. And somebody should call Joe Biden, because we just put 4 9mm into 2 different lungs, and neither one of them got blown out of the body. Shocking, I know. All right, now we're gonna try the Hornady Critical Defense. This round is notorious for not getting a ton of penetration. So, starting with the 16-inch Glock 19. I guess I'll just put these in the stomach so we can kind of compare the results. This thing sounds awesome. Entrance hole right there looks pretty standard. If we go around to the back, there is an exit hole. I'll try to brighten it up so you guys can see. Right there is where that bullet exited out the back. I think I see one fragment in the torso. It looks like it hit the spine, broke a piece of that, and then continued all the way through the back of the torso. All right, same bullet, Hornady Critical Defense, SIG P365. I'm gonna put this one on the stomach as well. I might put it on the same side just so it doesn't hit the spine and make the results unfair. Perfect. Okay, the entrance hole is right there, just above the first one that we shot. And then on the back, we have an exit hole right there. So pretty much identical result to the first one. I will say this one has 2 exit holes, like it might have broke apart a little bit, whereas this one looks like it's just 1, but they both hit the same spot and passed all the way through. And I don't know about you guys, but on the slow-mo, I could see what looked like the entire critical defense exiting out the back of the torso. So it expanded and stayed intact, but it did still pass all the way through. And the full-size 9mm pistol, Hornady Critical Defense. Try to put this one towards the top. Okay, that one went in right there, about an inch to the right and an inch above the last one. And then on the back, try to brighten it up. Hopefully you can see right there, in between the vertebrae, is our fully expanded Hornady Critical Defense. So we had 2 complete pass-throughs, one from the SIG and one from the Glock 19 with the crazy long barrel, and then the full-size 9mm pistol did not pass all the way through, probably because it hit the spine. But once again, that just shows you that shot placement is gonna dictate results a lot more than the length of your barrel. I'm gonna go ahead and do that one again and see if we can avoid the spine, just to make it fair. Try to bring it over to the left a little bit. There we go. And on that one, it looks like we also got an exit hole right there. So, same bullet, 3 different barrel lengths, and we got pretty much the exact same result. I don't think one of those would have been any more effective than the other. They all went into the stomach, passed all the way through, and exited out the other side. All right, I've got one more round to try. This is the Norma Monolithic Hollow Point. It's a 108 grain bullet, and it is screaming fast. So, out of this barrel, it should be really fast. I'm gonna try to put these on those middle organs there. Heart, liver, spleen. No fluid. Damn. No fluid. All right, it went in right there. Hopefully you can see that entrance hole. And then on the back, it actually went straight through our PVC pipe and ended up right there. So our torso is now leaning forward just a little bit. Same bullet, SIG P365. Almost folded him in half. All right, there's our entrance hole on that one. This dude is really about to fall over now. Hopefully you can see that. Leaking some fluid. Please stay upright. And if we go around to the back, that one also did not pass all the way through. I have a feeling if I let him go, that's what I thought was gonna happen. Well, on that note, I think he just decided for us that this experiment is now over. But the point has been proven. Obviously, barrel length does affect bullet performance. And if you shoot ballistics gel, water jugs, stuff like that, you are gonna notice minor differences. But when it comes to actually defending yourself with these calibers, it's not gonna make or break your shot. I mean, the differences we saw today were not even predictable half the time. Like sometimes the longer barrel would pass all the way through, the shorter barrel would stop in the target, which is kind of the opposite of what you would expect to see. And it's just, bullets do weird stuff. I think that is the most important thing that we've learned here today. So if you carry a bigger gun for more capacity, I'm all about it, but I wouldn't carry a bigger gun just for another inch or half inch of barrel. It's not gonna make that big of a difference in a real world scenario. Hope y'all enjoyed it or at least learned something. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. As always, hit the like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.